Here's my audience. Guns, abortion, immigration, freedom, education, and justice. These are just a few of the things that you can vote in America. Why? Because of democracy. Theodore Roosevelt once said, "A vote is like a rifle. Its usefulness depends on the character of the user." Today I'm going to be talking to you about 3 things. First, some of the reasons people say that you shouldn't vote or your vote doesn't matter. Next, how your vote matters and how it counts. And the most importantly, why us as the younger generation should get educated and go out and vote. As of the past 2 years, I have dove headfirst into all things politics, and I've also turned 18 to where I'm legally allowed to vote. And I have done my best in the past 2 years to educate myself fully on who I was voting for and the politics that I agree with. And I've voted about 3 times now since I was eligible to vote. So first, why people say your vote doesn't matter. Political parties, they say that political parties make it impossible to fully agree. And for that I have to say, you're never fully going to agree on a political candidate's standpoint and their views. For example, with President Trump, I agree with some of the policies or actions that he has done, but I do not agree with the sort of harsh language that he uses towards some people or some events. Additionally, some people don't vote because they are not educated enough or educated on the political party system. And there are so many different viewpoints and things going on in the media that sometimes you just don't know what's going on or who to vote for and why. For example, with healthcare, everyone deserves to have some healthcare, but universal healthcare is very costly and very hard to actually put forward. So most people don't know where they stand with this because there's many different sides, good points for both sides. Next, why does your vote count? Well, your vote has a bigger impact than you think. Why does your vote count in the Electoral College? Well, in the 2016 election, each voter's vote counted for about 0.000007% in the total vote, and that was from the 71republic.com. And even though that does sound like a very small number for what your vote counts on, it's on a bigger scale because it's voting for the president of the entire United States. And the Electoral College was made so that your one vote is for your district, which ultimately has a bigger impact in a smaller area of your state. And this is better because in a popular election, the bigger states like California or New York would control the ideas and the laws of the entire country, which would not be a good idea. Also, how does your vote count in the midterm elections? Well, in 2018, the NPR.org said that 47%, which is less than half of the eligible voters, voted in the midterm elections. And that was actually the highest voting since 1966. And since voter turnout is so low, your vote ultimately has a greater impact than if it was much higher. And your vote ultimately will affect the state and local levels. So you'll also be voting for more than just Congress. You'll be voting for things like the school board or governor. Lastly, why us as a younger generation should go out and educate ourselves and vote. So why should we vote for the national elections, which has the main voter turnout? We're voting for a greater power, which is the presidency. And the laws, we need to make our voices heard because the laws passed at a national level will ultimately affect us at the state and local levels. Which brings me to my next point. Why should we be voting in the state and local levels? So these laws will affect us in our day-to-day lives. And for example, in Georgia, the Ledger Inquirer reported in 2018 that a law was passed for drivers to not be able to touch their phones at all, or it will be illegal and you will get a ticket. And this is a great example of a law that affects us in our day-to-day lives. And this is a visual of a chart that says who the 18 to 29-year-olds are the least to vote in elections, and this is a specific election. And this just shows that the people from 60 and up are voting for our future, and we are not voting for our own. So in closing, I have talked to you about why people say that we shouldn't vote, why your vote counts, and why us as the younger generation should educate ourselves and go out and vote. I think that in the end, we should probably make elections more fun and faster as a sort of incentive to go out and vote. The American political system has become more complicated and corrupt as the years go on, which is even more of a reason why we should educate ourselves and not just listen to other people's opinions or the media. And we need to vote to change the corruption of the country and make this country even more greater.